Senator Bob Casey said farewell on the Senate floor today.
He will not return to the Capitol come January. Republican Dave McCormack bested the Democrat from Scranton by about 16,000 votes. Newswatch 16's Stacey Lang is here. She spoke with Casey as he prepares for the end of 2024 and the end of his time in the Senate. Stacey.
Yes, Scott and Lisa, Senator Bob Casey sat down with us last week as business in Washington was beginning to wind down for the holidays. We discussed how he sees his legacy in Washington, D.C. and at home in Scranton. Senator Bob Casey knows a lot about history, and he sits among it nearly every day. In the office in the Russell Senate Office Building, once inhabited by John F. Kennedy, Jr. It's where we met Senator Casey to talk about his history here in Washington, D.C.
I've been fortunate to serve the people of our state for 28 years consecutively. That's pretty rare, and to serve here for 18 years. So I have a lot of gratitude in my heart as I close my time in the Senate.
His staff is starting to pack up the office, but the post-election rush to the end of the year doesn't leave much time for reflection. Our meeting with him was between two votes on the Senate floor, wrapping up 2024 business. Casey believes some of his most impactful votes here came toward the end of his career.
I guess when it comes to Pennsylvania, I'm very proud of the investments we made through the American Rescue Plan in the last 4 years, the infrastructure law, the Inflation Reduction Act, to invest in communities.
The American Rescue Plan brought close to $70 million to Casey's hometown of Scranton. The senator says the real results of that investment will be seen after he leaves office. Casey also touted his leadership in passing the ABLE Act, which allows people with disabilities to save money without losing government benefits. He's also proud of the millions secured to begin construction on passenger rail connecting Scranton to New York City, an effort he hopes continues.
Obviously, you always have concerns about whether folks coming after you will carry it forward, but I think there's broad bipartisan support for it in our region.
The Casey name was long associated with Harrisburg politics until Bob Casey Jr. was elected to the U.S. Senate in 2006. He had hoped to serve a fourth term in the Senate until he was unseated in the 2024 election. And Casey says there's plenty of unfinished business.
I think we have a chance next year. Obviously, the Senate and the House will be working on it, but we as private, I'll be a private citizen soon, we have a role to play in informing ourselves and becoming advocates for a much fairer tax code.
That includes tax cuts for the middle class, a longtime talking point from the left. But Casey believes the incoming Republican majority could get it done.
We've got a society that's been divided, and part of the reason for that, in my judgment, is that people feel squeezed. Their paycheck doesn't go as far as it used to. And one of the ways to provide a remedy for that is give the middle class a hell of a big tax cut.
Advocating for tax reform is one of the things Casey plans to do from a different office, at home.
Every job I had in serving the people in government, Auditor General, State Treasurer, and U.S. Senator, required me to be someplace else other than home. I had to be in Harrisburg for a decade for those statewide positions. Then I was in Washington, 2 hours further south. So now I'll be able to wake up, and whatever job I have, whatever work I'm doing, I'll be able to do it mostly from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Now, Casey's historic Washington office won't necessarily go to his successor, Republican Dave McCormack, who will be sworn in after the first of the year. We reached out to Senator-elect McCormack's office, hoping to speak with him as well. We did not hear back. You can watch our entire interview with Senator Casey on WNEP Plus and WNEP.com.